we are with Karan Patel, a designated team from Kenya, who is obliged and designated to receive us as a Shimeza Chama Motorsport media that is dedicated to serve you in and out, both international and local. Dear esteemed viewers, you can subscribe, like and share. We are on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. I want to introduce to you a man himself. We call him the Lion of Kenya. He has been a 4-time champion. Two-time.
Yeah, it depends. We've won a few championships, but never overall.
Never overall championship.
Winning.
Yeah, I will introduce to you, dear viewers. I introduce to you Karan Patel, and he will give us more of himself, not me giving him of himself. Yes, Mr. Karan Patel. Morning.
Good morning to you.
I want to know who is Karan Patel.
Well, let's say I'm an enthusiast of motorsports, and I do also have a day-to-day job which involves the maintenance of aeroplanes. So I'm very passionate about planes, flying, and we use this car to then fly down on the ground now.
Yes, Karan Patel. I understand you have come to Uganda to outcompete the Ugandan Blue Abyss. We call the Ugandan Lions. However, your car, the Ford Fiesta R5, is one of a kind. We know some of the Ugandans have started buying the cars. However, these cars are protos, and I understand you have a Proto R5. So, give us a brief analysis about the Proto R5 and how it moves on now.
So this car is actually not a proto. It's an R5. It's original R5. So there's a big difference between the proto and the R5. Do you know the difference yourself?
The difference is the R5 is made by the company, then the proto is it is chartered by someone else who does the R5. Or in most cases, the R5 it may have the system down R5, yet the body is not an R5.
Yeah, so you're right to some extent. Basically put, a proto is still the shell of an R5, but it's been modified to accept the running gear, transmission and engine of a Group N car. So the protos run normally 2-liter engines, be it Subaru or Mitsubishi, with the related gearbox and transmission and running gear. Here behind us we have an R5 with a 1.6-liter engine. So we're not with the 2-liter engine as you would find in a proto. So power to weight is a bit less than a proto. However, we're much lighter, so we're much more agile. But nevertheless, proto and R5 we've not raced with each other. Let's say it would be good to put the same driver in a proto and the same driver in an R5 and see the performance difference. But for us, coming from the background of having run a GC8, we started with just a basic Subaru Impreza. We moved up to an Evo 10, and then we moved up to the R5. It would have been, say, a bit pointless to have an Evo 10 and then buy a proto, because it's the same car with a different body. So, like I said, here behind us we have a legitimate Ford Fiesta R5 rally car, which is eligible to compete in the WRC categories. It's fully homologated and fully complies with all the regulations. So yeah, the last time I was here in Uganda was 2005. I was competing in the Africa Motocross Championship at Garuga Racetrack. Yes, so we accomplished the win there, and we were champions for East Africa in the motocross 85cc category. So that's the last time I raced here. I've never rallied in Uganda, and I'm looking very forward to it. I understand there's a lot of enthusiasm and enthusiastic fans here in Uganda, more enthusiastic than you can say in Kenya or any other African country. So I know for a fact that Uganda has the craziest fans, so I'm looking forward to that. And we're looking forward to hopefully another win for our second race here in Uganda, the first being the motocross race.
If I may ask, I understand there are 2 R5s into the list. We have one of Gomez and you. What is your partake on that?
Yeah, you know, it's everyone has a different story. Everyone has a different way to look at it. Some people look at our car and they say that the car is more superior and there's no way that they can beat us in this car, which I would honestly say is a wrong attitude. You know, I had this car when I was racing against the local drivers in Kenya who were driving Evo 10s, and they were still managing to keep up and or beat me in the R5. So, you know, an Evo 10 is more than capable of beating this car. Although I would say it also depends on the stages. If they are more open and more high-speed stages, then the Evo 10 definitely has a better advantage because of the higher top speed it can produce. But when it's twisty and tight and lots of corners, then the R5 is a bit more advantageous in that it's much more nippy. Like I said, it's a very agile car, very light, and it also depends on how you set the car up. A lot of people still local drivers and international drivers, people who are new to R5 cars, where small adjustments make a very big difference in the drivability of the car. There's a lot to learn. So yes, we are getting there to the point where we play around a lot with the car. There's a lot to change mechanically. There's not much you can change once you start moving, and once you're driving, then you can't change any settings. It's just about having a good setup for the stages. After you do the recce, then you decide how you want the car to be.
As per just a brief of the interview I've made, you have been in the sport since 2005, but how do you see African rallying in the next 5 years?
Let's see. I mean, I can't predict the future. Nobody can. But with WRC back in the continent, in the African continent, we have the World Rally Championship Series now. So there's a lot of interest and a lot of corporate commitment from people who want to sponsor the event, sponsor the drivers. So we hope. It also depends on the organizers, the committees running the rally, to upkeep certain standards of events. And sadly, sometimes it's not the case. We have events which we do. For instance, this year we did a few events. The first rally of the season, there was no tracking in the car, no SOS buttons for emergency use. So it's a bit disappointing that we are coming up to a level where we are hosting World Rally Championship rounds, but still we are very far behind in local events. It just makes me wonder why does it have to be that way. But like I said, if the stakeholders and the shareholders of the whole rallying scene in Kenya and the continent, if they can and they want, then yes, rallying can grow. Being here in Uganda, like I said, I know there's a lot of keen enthusiasts and fans, and it's a huge entry here in Uganda. A lot of entries, and I don't remember the last time I took part in an event with over 30 entries. So for us, it's nice. The more the competition, the better, and we hope and pray that rallying grows in the continent, because we invest. Here we're investing in the sport. I'm investing in myself, health and fitness and mental fitness, and there's a lot we do towards being the best drivers. So it also would help if organizers and committees worked towards doing their best to make sure the event is a full-fledged world-class event.
As per the entry list, we have 49 designated drivers who are going to participate into the Power Rally Africa 2022. However, Ugandan drivers are saying they have a home advantage of them being home, and they are not scared of the R5s. They are not scared of anybody who is willing to come to Uganda and take away the championship of this event. What do you expect? Because you have Yasin Nasa, who is already participating in the ARC, he's driving a GVB, and I understand he's an R4. What do you expect from the rally and the Ugandan drivers?
Yeah, well, this is home. As I'm sure you watch football, everyone likes to play on home ground, and I'm sure everyone in Uganda here is now excited if they're local drivers that the rally is in home ground. The same would go for me when I'm in Kenya. I'm very comfortable on the terrain, but you know, Kenya is very challenging. The routes are rough, the rallies are tough, and I understand Uganda's roads are slightly smoother and slightly better. So rallying in Kenya prepares you a lot for very rough and tough conditions, be it the environment, the temperature conditions, the weather, and then the surface of the road you're driving on. There's a lot we've learned over the years rallying in Kenya, and you know, for those that know the stages here in Uganda, that's well and good. I personally raced against Baldev Chaga and Carl Tundu, who have rallied for over 30 years in Kenya, and they probably know the routes like the back of their hands. So for me, it's not an issue if those that know the routes in Uganda and the rally that's going to happen this weekend, that's an advantage for them, and it means we have to work harder, and it will make the win more sweeter. So for us, we're going to go from Leroy's interview yesterday. There's no point coming to a rally and not wanting to win, and that's what Leroy said. So you know, we also want to come here with the mindset that we need to win here. We want to win here. So nothing else. You learn over time not to let these things affect you. There'll be a lot of people who want to put certain things in your head or want to scare you a bit, and over the years you learn to just listen to certain things, and other things you kind of put them on the side, maybe take them into consideration, but it shouldn't affect the driving. So these are things you learn over time. In my little years of being a rally driver, and as I hope to continue rallying, I've learned a lot, and for me I'm ready to tackle whatever challenges come this rally. So we hope for a dry rally. If it's wet, then it's going to be wet for everybody. So you know, it's the same. It's the same for all of us.
Okay. We know in Africa, Uganda is the leading number one. How should I phrase this in the fan base and the car enthusiasts? What words do you give them to safety and the way they are going to enjoy the sport? Because just know they have been anticipating so much of Karan, but if you see on our platforms, we have been talking so much about you. Then we will refer to Matthew was even doing WRC, because I understand you also learning. Then Gomez was doing Zambia and is doing any Evo X. Then he's also doing the Proto when he's out. I mean, he's doing the other 5 when he's out. So what do you give to the fans?
Without the fans, the motorsport doesn't have the charm. So we really appreciate fans, followers. As you can see behind us, the car is now with the colors of KCB Bank, and we're very thankful for that. And I don't think this would have been possible if we don't have fans. So the fans play a very important role, and mine is to say that, you know, here we've come to race. We're going to be driving on the limit. We're going to be driving on the edge, at the edge of our comfort zone, at the edge of the grip levels, and it's very important that the fans understand that this is a dangerous sport. So it's always important for fans and the public who are watching the rally to take into consideration that should the car lose control where it might continue traveling as it lost its control. For instance, if there's a corner, a left-handed corner, then they should not stand on the outside of the corner, neither should they stand on the inside, but I would say the inside is a much safer place to stand on a corner than being on the outside of a corner. So certain things you know, are important, especially positions where people are watching from. So mine is to just say that, you know, come one, come all. Thank you for having us in Uganda, and we hope to put on a good show for all of you fans and supporters. And just be safe. Just be safe. Also, don't drink and drive. It's always nice to have a few beers, 1, 2, 3. But after number 5, I think then you don't know what you're doing. So it's
number 5, you're going to the limit.
Yeah, number 5, you're on the limit. So you'll be on the limit, and we'll be on the limit in the car. So, you know, it's not a good combination. If you're going to drink, leave the car at home. but also it will also require you to know how to behave when you're at that level of.
Okay, a colleague
Okay,
wants to say.
Mr. Patel, to the Ugandans who are seeing the Ford R5 for the first time, some of them would like to know how expensive is it, because we have so many Ugandans that are rich, but we've not seen such cars in the country.
It can depend. A brand new R5 can cost between $240,000 to $280,000. This one is a second-hand one. I won't disclose the price, but you know, they vary. They vary because the cars hold the value. As long as you continue to maintain the car. For us, touch wood, the car is performing well. Sorry, the car has been performing well. It also adds to the value of the car. You see, we've been finishing rallies consistently, so it means we are learning also how to keep the car up to a standard whereby it's able to finish each event. It's no use starting a race, doing 1-2 stages, winning, and then the car has let you down. So, number one, the car is not cheap. I think you can get 3 Evo 10s if you sell 1 R5. That is rally cars. But this is a superior car, and also the maintenance is not cheap. So it does require a lot of input, and to date we've been pushing a lot and very hard to be part of a team that you know, appreciates what we're doing and that financially assists us, which is so now we have thankfully KCB on board, so it helps with the cost of upkeep, and also psychologically it will help me push a little harder because I know that at the end of the race we have a certain budget to bring the car back to a level where it's capable of being a winning car for the next rally.
Okay, like how much has the government and maybe the federation helped you during this game of motorsport? Because you're seeing most drivers in Uganda, some of them are saying the government maybe has not put a hand. How is it in Kenya?
No, the government plays a big role. They don't. I wouldn't say individual drivers are supported by the government yet. I'm not too sure about the FIA Rally Stars program in Kenya, where you see McRae, Kimathi, and Jeremy Mahome, Hamza Anwar. I'm not sure about that, whether the government has any input in that, but the government is helping a lot in terms of the WRC. You know, I think off the top of my head, the country needs around 500 million shillings, which is $5 million to approximately to run the event, and that all comes from the government. So we have a lot of support from the government, not individual drivers, but the sport as a whole.
Yes, dearest viewers, we have been on your number 1 TV sport show, Tumezacha Motorsport, where I've been having Mr. Karan Patel from Kenya, one of the designated drivers Uganda has been anticipating and been following back home. However, he's saying his major aim, because no one comes into the sport, no one invests into the sport and doesn't hope to win into the sport. So he's loping or he's leaping for a win into this rally he's going in for, starting Friday, where we shall have a shakedown. Then Saturday we'll go into the main event. Then on Sunday we shall know where he will be standing. I wish him all the best and thank you.